What's up, y'all? I'm Alan Hain, the Lawn Care Nut. Thanks for coming back for yet another week. So I should say happy Thanksgiving week. This is the weekend of Thanksgiving, and had my family in town, had a great time. I showed you some clips there. We went fishing, which is what we always do. But with that today, I needed to provide an update. I actually had a comment come in on my last video. A guy was telling me, hey man, you didn't update your video on the N-Ext only products that you did in the back lawn, and now you got new sod. What's up with that, bro? And I was kind of like, yeah, no kidding. I guess I just figured you guys watch the videos and you kind of see the way the lawn looks along the way, but I had actually promised you we'd do soil testing and things like that, which I did do, just never got around to revealing it. So what I've done is I've spent, just so you know, like literally many hours over the last couple days writing like a complete timeline and showing you video clips and everything else. I'm gonna actually release that as a PDF. It's free. It's gonna come out in the email on Tuesday, but I figured some of you that are watching this Sunday, you're gonna wanna get that earlier. So I'll put a link in the description below. You can just go and download the PDF. You don't have to give us your information or anything, but if you're on the email list, you'll also get it in a much better formatted way in the email on Tuesday. But basically what I'm doing is I'm taking you through an entire timeline, and this video is gonna kind of support that a little bit because I'll give you some more context, as well as I've got a bunch of clips that I never used that I'm gonna use in this video that'll actually support it too, or kind of show you, draw some light on some different things. So with that, let's go to the back lawn and let's get started on our summary here. By the way, these are still going. Still haven't touched them. Still extremely bone dry. It looks like this one's starting to kick back in. It's funny, St. Augustine's a big baby, but then it comes back out of nowhere sometimes. RGS, look at this guy. Shooting over the edges. I don't know where they're getting water from. I'm not watering them. There's Hydrotane, still holding strong, still bone dry. If you're wondering what I'm smoking, that's an Ashton. Came from my buddy Drew over at Seed Superstore. Not a sponsor, just a friend. But anyway, and then here is the 901 Greene Start. 3-ounce dip, 901 Greene Start. What was that? 6 or heavy dip? I don't know, 9, something like that. Milo, again, I had actually put the calculations of the Milo out in a blog post, but I'll put them up here, like the equivalent pounds on the ground that this actually equaled. It's astronomically huge. That's why she died. And then here is the other control, again with nothing in it, but starting to try to revitalize itself. So there you go. Figured to keep those going. Now another thing to pay attention to as you watch this video is the shape of the palm trees, and then also my bird of paradise. I don't know what the actual name of those are, because the bird of paradise got zorched in the freeze and I cut them to the ground, and pretty much all the next products have been getting poured into the roots of those. I didn't, do any kind of testing or like, do a control on it or anything. But the other thing is also the Areca palms, same thing. Those had a ton of freeze damage from last year, and I trimmed them all out and been putting N-Ext in the roots of them, and you can see they have all recovered very, very nicely. Anyway, this is our back lawn as it stands today, and this is not what we tested. As you know, this is brand new sod here. And this behind me is a brand new sod, and I'm gonna be doing a full video on it eventually, but for now I can just tell you the name of it is Pro Vista, and it's super cool because it is glyphosate tolerant. Okay, so I figured the best way to structure this is I'll just kind of lay it out. I'll kind of go through what's in the PDF, but I'll just do summaries here, because the idea is, again, that this video serves as a supplement to the written part, because the written part is really where you're going to be able to really dive down. And listen, it's winter time right now, so I realize a lot of you are cooped up inside, so you might want a lot of extended content, and I'm going to link you to many videos. Also keep in mind that in the PDF, most of the videos I link to a specific piece of the video, because that's one of the things that those of you that have been around for a while have noticed, is that I kind of tell an ongoing story week to week. And so what'll happen is if I have a project going, I might be doing a video about grub worms, but in the end I might update you on the project lawn, for example. So I realize that gets a little bit confusing, but I mean, how else do you tell a story of your life and your lawn care at the same time? Because that's really what this is. It's my life in the lawn, in a way, because I realize that your life in the lawn is very similar. So with that though, I'm going to go through this, and again, we'll hopefully try to structure things in a way that you can follow along fairly easily. So here's what I'm going to do. The PDF is going to give you all of the details, but I'm just going to do a quick summary here, just so you can kind of see some clips, and then you can get the PDF to get all the detail. So in January, you see I did my own custom Juju mix, and it was my little attempt at doing a 402 Flora Green clone. But again, there wasn't much there, but I was learning about humics and stuff, and I'm like, I'm gonna try this on my own. February 3rd, I did get some 402 Flora Green. One of you guys sent it to me. Thanks, bro. I can't remember your name, but a guy sent me a gallon of it because he had saw that my palms were all jacked up. And so he sent me that to help him recover. And what I did is I went ahead and put some on the lawn. At that time, I called it a heavy dose, but it wasn't. It was like 3 ounces per thousand, which is nothing on a 402. February 10th, I did RGS at 3 ounces a gallon because by that time, the guys at Greene County had shipped me some stuff to try. And then on February 28th, so 18 days after the RGS app, I did a soil test. And that is what we're going to see here. So let's go over that real quick. Here is the soil test. And what you're going to see is everything was low. We had almost no nitrogen. Again, no macrofert had been applied even the previous year in a long time. The phos is high and remains high. And you'll see that. And then we had a little bit of potassium there. A couple of these other macros are fine. Calcium, magnesium, these fine, fine, fine. And then we get to our micros. We're very low in all of the micros. So in the main things that we typically think of that give us a healthy lawn, and I'm talking about N and K, and then obviously iron, which we love, which turns the lawn blue, and the other micros, we were deficient. pH was good. So that's where we started with that lawn right back there. So I went ahead and put that RGS down on the 10th, and then sometime shortly after that, I got the idea of, hey, I'm gonna test these things out, because as I've stressed to you guys, I was learning at that time. I'm like, I'm gonna only do N-Ext products in this back lawn. And I said, I'm gonna only do N-Ext products back here, and that's all I'm gonna do. And at that time, we only had the BioStim pack and the soil activator, and I think the micros available, but we didn't have the 1801 or the 901. We didn't have a lot of those bells and whistles available to us at that time. So the idea was I was gonna stick just with the BioStim pack and the soil activator pack stuff for the back lawn only. Now that reveals a mistake in my thinking in that, and one that I think some of you took on, and that is, listen guys, most of these products, these biostimulants, they're not gonna make a color pop in the lawn. The only ones that are gonna change the color of the lawn are the microgreen or the 700 green effect, and that's because of the iron that's in the mix. Any nitrogen that's in there is negligible. These are meant to be backups or additions, or I would say that support to your regular macrofert. None of these products in these two packs were ever designed to be just to treat the lawn only with nothing else. But that's what I did in order to test them. That's when I did that epic dose on March 17th. And you guys have seen that video, it's linked below. What I'm gonna tell you though is the epic dose was not so epic. 3 ounces of each of those is nothing. I mean, aerate, you can go up to I think like 12 or 15 ounces per thousand. Dethatch, 6 to 9 I think. Again, I'm quoting these off the top of my head, but you gotta realize 3 ounces of each of these, pretty negligible, especially the 700 and the microgreen. But either way, that was my idea of a epic dose, and I hosed it down. Of course, again, I keep mentioning that epic dose. That's not so epic. We did that in April. We really didn't do much, but I give you some updates, and that's what April was about, was just showing you what happened after that micro, or after that epic dose. But I really didn't do anything. In fact, here's one piece here on April 22nd. I was actually gonna do a 700 green effect, but I got rained out. You know what, let's go ahead and take one quick second and go look at the back here, because I want to look at it before I mow it because of what some other things I'm going to do later on in the video today. So let's take a look back here. Remember, we're only using the N-Ext products back here. No any kind of other ferts or other kind of inputs. So you can see, I mean, it's looking as good as anything else. Again, there's been no Milo back here at all, just N-Ext products. Now, as you're gonna see in the video later today, there is ways to get visual responses using some of the N-Ext products. That's what we're gonna do. But you can see, that's just from the couple lightning storms we had over the last couple weeks. Now I'm standing back here to get out of the wind, which is also showing you some more of the frost damage areca palm here. But anyway, I don't know what this is gonna look like after I cut it. But again, we're gonna do treatment today on this in the entire lawn that's gonna actually provide a visual response. So that'll be kind of cool, so stay tuned. This is what I was afraid of, it's starting to rain. Yeah, this might get me. It's not really bad, it wouldn't hurt to spray this in the rain, but it's not a good idea either. It's just, because it's messy, I don't want it to wash off into my sidewalks and stuff. That's really the deal. Remember, don't make a mess. Yeah. So because I got rained out then, that means that the last application was on March 17th. I got no applications down at all in April. Now May was super rainy, and I did take an update on 5/6 just to show you what things were looking like just before the double dark. And then I actually applied the double dark on 5/8. Now I didn't actually get that in any videos, but here's some video of me putting it down now. And then of course I got results of that, which I will link below. You can see the results there like a couple weeks after and even a month after. So once I did the app of the double dark and I waited like the 10 days, and that's when I saw the results coming out, that's when I really realized, okay, this is where I can make the differences in these micros. Now you have to realize too, and I didn't set this up with you, but it's in the videos if you watch them. The idea here is that I was gonna use the N-Ext products to also maximize the natural nitrogen that I get out of the air. We have so many lightning storms here. Lightning releases natural nitrogen from the air that the lawns green up pretty much every day after it rains, because it rains every day here in the afternoon. So my idea was I was going to sustain that green by using humic acid and those types of things. And as you're going to see, once I did the double dark, things sustained pretty well because I didn't really do that many applications after. Let's take a look. So I've been throwing up the pictures here in the video and everything else. And again, this is different grass here now. I'm just using this because this is where I'm at. But just remember, when you go back and you look at this a little more, there really wasn't anything put down, not very much anyway, just the micros really. We went on almost no nitrogen, at least none that I put down. Very, very little. There's very little in the 700. And in fact, I got more of that in the PDF so you understand, because a lot of you are thinking, well, Alan, the 700 is a macro fert, but when you look at the rates on it, it's almost not registered. It's really the iron that's in those products that makes that difference. But I want to take a quick second though and just review that last soil test. We're going to compare the first one from February 28th, which is essentially before I really started doing anything. And then we're going to compare that one to the one of July 29th, because after that is when I started doing macro fert. Even though I only did macro fert on half, figured I would stop the test there. So let's go ahead and look at that second soil test as compared to that first one. But keep in mind, the grass stayed green through all of this. Keep that in mind. Okay, so here's the one from 2/18, and here's the one from 7/29. It's dated 8/2, but that's just because of when I mailed it. But there they go. So you're gonna see, just looking at them close, they look similar, but what you're gonna notice is the nitrogen is quite a bit higher. The soil part per million, again, Soil Savvy is what is available right now in your soil. So Soil Savvy 4.78 parts per million available of N, whereas before 1.59. In between these, there was not really any nitrogen applied. So that means I got a lot from the lightning, and that's gonna go ahead and contribute to my nice green lawn. Phos stayed off the charts. Again, I have no idea why, but we also have more K available. So you can see here our parts per million are 1.59 available, and here 4.78 available. So once again, potassium is up. Our micros all were high anyway. Calcium, magnesium, sulfur, and those stayed high. So did the sodium there. You can see that's a little bit higher up into the green, so that's pretty good. Iron is up. You certainly would hope so with all the double dark I was putting down. Again, it's a micro, you don't need that much. It was at 0.28 parts per million, and then during this one it was at 1.75, but still we could go higher. But why go higher if the lawn is staying green? And then you can see the other, micros here are fine. Looks like copper and boron both came up, which is nice. Last thing to look at then would be the pH, and you're gonna see that it kind of stayed exactly where it was, just at the top end of the good, target area there. So the soil tests really did not change much. In fact, a little bit more of the macros available and more micros, but other than that, we're doing low inputs. We have not input that much here. So one thing to keep in mind is this last test was done July 29th, but there hadn't been any apps done. The previous double dark was done May 8th. There was a humic 12 on June 1st, but so really though, since July 29th, there hadn't been much put on the lawn. That's the results, not scientific. You guys know all my tests are not scientific. I will link to a playlist below that John Perry did on soil testing, like kind of the traditional way or the proper way to do soil testing. The Soil Savvy tests are much different. They work different. They're really more just simple, what kind of nutrients do I need kind of tests, whereas the ones John Perry talks about, the university type tests, are going to look at organic matter in the soil and a lot of things I never really knew about. So definitely check those out too. And next time I do a test like this, if I ever decide to do one like this, that's how I'll do it. I'll measure the soil a little bit differently. But for me, again, I was learning, and if you get the PDF, again, you're going to see I take you through my journey and my thinking and how I was learning things and how I was like, well, that probably didn't work, or again, that dose wasn't so epic as I thought. So
I was learning a lot here as well. So with that, link in the description to all of that stuff. I hope that this has been helpful to you, and as I continue to learn, I will continue teaching you and showing you and everything else, but for me it's all about the visuals, and the visuals from these products that I use in the back lawn and the front lawn work great this year. With that, all N-Ext products are 10% off in the store, and you get an additional $5 off either a 5 or a 4 gallon case by using coupon code Cousin Eddie. That'll go through midnight Eastern time on December 6th, so make sure you get that, as well as we have some more Milo hats available. These are available in the store. I'll link to those if that's something that interests you for your Cyber Monday. And then I'll have a lot more content coming up on this, but again, I got family here today where they're actually in there making lasagna right now and watching the Bucks, so I'm gonna go in and edit this, get this out, and then I hope this has been helpful to you. Again, I promise you, once the holidays get through here, I got plenty more good content coming up, including Christmas lights, which I'm late on this year. So with that, I'm Alan Hain, the Lawn Care Nut. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the lawn.
This place, y'all.